ranki a kullum su kasance zakakurai hilo kuzari domin ci gaba.
Oga Panel Bita, na kawo mota ta ne a tayar da duk wata komada a jikinta.
Ni da yara na za mu kera miki motar nan.
Amma wannan
Freedom.
gwaji ne kawai za a iya bambancewa.
Na fi sati biyu ina fama da tari.
Ba wani abun tsoro a ciki. Ni kaina na yi gwajin tarin a baya. Domin magance wannan tarin naka lalle ka je a maka gwaji.
Gaskiya oga ka je a duba ka.
Domin wanda bai je ba zai sani ba.
A bincike shi fa domin mu tabbatar.
Wanda ke tari har sama da sati biyu zai iya zama alamu ne na tarin fuka. Ku kira layin kula da tarin fuka ta ƙasa a lamba 3340 domin samun bayani akan inda za a je a yi gwajin tarin fuka kyauta. Haka kuma ana iya kiran layin NCDC a lamba 6232 don samun ƙarin bayani a inda za a je a yi gwajin cutar COVID-19 kyauta.
99.5 FM.
This is Freedom Global News. This is Freedom Global News. This is Freedom Global News.
Court stops Independent National Electoral Commission from ending voters' registration on June 30th. Kano State House of Assembly elects new Deputy Speaker. Correspondent reports on World Refugee Day. And on the foreign scene, Libya faction fails to reach agreement at United Nations mediation.
This is Freedom Global News.
Good evening, you're listening to Freedom Global News on 99.5 FM. I am Hauwa Adamu Kiyawa. Today is the 20th of June, 2022, which is equivalent to the 20th of Zulqa'dah, 1443 after Hijri. And now the news in full. The Federal High Court in Abuja has stopped the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, from ending voter registration on June 30th, 2022. Justice Mobalaji Olajuwon of Court 10 today granted an order of interim injunction following the hearing of an argument on motion ex parte by Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP. SERAP and 185 concerned Nigerians had early this month filed the lawsuit against INEC, asking the court to declare unconstitutional, illegal, and incompatible with international standards the failure of the electoral body to extend the deadline for voter registration to allow eligible Nigerians to exercise their rights. The Deputy Director, SERAP, Oluwa Dario Kolawole, in an interview with Freedom Radio, said that the interim injunction granted by the court is in the interest of democracy in order to increase participation in voting.
People still need to register to vote. We need to increase civic participation. And this decision of INEC to discontinue continuous voter registration on the 30th of June 2022 is not in the interest of democracy, particularly with the logistic challenges that we've seen across all the registration centers. And so it can only be in the best interest of Nigerians that this court has granted this interim injunction to ensure that a lot of Nigerians who really want to participate in the electoral process are afforded the opportunity to do so by registering. In
the suit, SERAP had asked the court for an order restraining INEC its agents, privies, assigns, or any other persons claiming through it from discontinuing the continuous voter registration exercise from the 30th of June 2022 or any other date pending the hearing and determination of the motion on notice. The suit is adjourned to 29th June 2022 for the hearing of the motion on notice for interlocutory injunction. The Kano State House of Assembly members have elected member representing Uru constituency Alhaji Kabiru Hassan Dashi as the new Deputy Speaker of the House. This follows the resignation of the Deputy Speaker of the House, Alhaji Zubairu Hamza Masu, member representing Sumaila constituency, who tendered his letter of resignation from the post. The Speaker of the House, Engineer Hamisu Ibrahim Chideri, after reading the letter during today's plenary session, also declared the Deputy Speaker's seat as vacant, which allowed member representing Dawakin Tofa, Honorable Saleh Ahmed Margi, who nominated Dashi and seconded by the member representing Wudil, Honorable Nuhu Abdullahi Ashka. Honorable Kabiru Hassan Dashi, who was the former Deputy Chief Whip, Deputy Majority Leader and Majority Leader of the House, was later agreed to become the Deputy Speaker after his nomination by the 28 members of the House, and subsequently took an oath to the office of the Deputy Speaker, which was administered by the Director Legal Matters of the House, Barrister Nasida Aliyu. Speaking to newsmen, Kabiru Dashi reiterated his commitment to discharge his duty diligently for the development of Kano State and Nigeria at large.
I thank Almighty Allah for giving me this opportunity to serve as Deputy Speaker. Secondly, I thank His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State, for his contribution towards this success. I want to thank the entire member of Kano State House Assembly for the support and cooperation they give during this appointment.
Also speaking to House correspondents, the former Speaker of the House, Alhaji Abdulaziz Garba Gafasa, urged the newly appointed Deputy Speaker to use his experience while discharging his responsibilities.
Kabiru Dashi is not new in the leadership of the House. He's once a majority leader of this House for over 1 year, and now, God so kind, he returned as the Deputy Speaker of the House, and I believe members agree or are satisfied with what he did previously when he is the leader of the House. So I'm calling on him to continue the good work or the good relationship he has with the members so that we enjoy the seat.
Correspondent Awal Hassan Fagir reports that the House adjourned its sitting till tomorrow, Tuesday, 21st of June, 2022. On the sporting arena, President Muhammadu Buhari has directed the Nigeria Football Federation, NFF, to immediately commence the process that will lead to holding new elections into its executive committee at the expiration of the current administration in September. Mohammed San Uba has details of this and other sports updates.
President Muhammadu Buhari also directed that the instrument of football administration in the country, the NFF laws, be amended to include other stakeholders who had been disenfranchised or denied equal representation in the NFF Congress. The Nigerian president, who reinforced the Nigerian government's support for football development in one of Africa's top footballing nations, asked the leadership of the NFF to ensure that the amended laws reflect the national yearnings, aspirations, and peculiarities of Nigeria as a sovereign nation, while aligning with the principles and objectives of football, as said by the sport world governing body FIFA. Meanwhile, kidnappers of a former secretary of the Nigeria Football Federation, Alhaji Sani Toro, are demanding for 150 million. Sani Toro, a former assistant coach of the Super Eagles, Garba Yila, and one of their friends, Alhaji Isaja, have been abducted by gangmen on Saturday on their way back to Bauchi from Abuja, where they attended the wedding of the son of a former NFF president, Aminu Maigari. In another update, Minister of Youth and Sport Development, Sunday Dare, says Toby Amusan's record-breaking run in the 100-meter hurdles at last week's Diamond League meeting in Paris is a further testament of Nigeria's rising profile in sport. The 25-year-old ran 12 minutes 41 seconds to break the 9-month-old African record she set last year at the Diamond League final in Zurich. Dare said Amusan's feat and the recent encouraging performances by Nigerian athletes across the globe are a sign of growth which Sport Ministry is determined to sustain. Similarly, this year's edition of the prestigious award ceremony for African football, the CAF Award 2022, will hold on July 21 in Morocco. The CAF Award will be held ahead ahead of the final of Africa's flagship women's competition, Women's Africa Cup of Nations Morocco 2022, scheduled to take place from July 2 to July 23. In dawn tennis, British number 3 Heather Watson lost in straight set to Canadian Rebecca Marino in her first round match at Eastbourne. Watson fell to a 7-6, 7-1, 6-4 defeat by Marino, who will play Italian Camilla Giorgi next. Muhammad Sanoba, Freedom Radio.
The global news is coming to you from Freedom Radio 99.5 FM. You can send your comments, opinions, or watch us live on Freedom Radio Nigeria on Facebook.com. You can get the link to the page on our website, freedomradionig.com. Welcome back. You're still listening to Freedom Global News on 99.5 FM. Before we take the correspondent report on World Refugee Day, for tomorrow's weather forecast in some cities in Nigeria and parts of Niger Republic, here's the report.
Kano tomorrow morning is expected to have partly cloud and a gentle breeze at an average temperature of 23 degrees Celsius and later increase to 26 degrees Celsius with a sunny intervals and a gentle breeze. Katsina will experience the same weather condition at an average temperature of 24 degrees Celsius and later increase to 27 degrees Celsius with a sunny intervals and a gentle breeze. Kaduna is expected to have light wind showers and light wind at an average temperature of 21 degrees Celsius and later increase to 23 degrees Celsius with a gentle breeze. Abuja will experience the same weather condition at an average temperature of 23 degrees Celsius and later increase to 25 degrees Celsius with a light cloud and light wind. Lagos is expected to have partly cloud and light wind at an average temperature of 24 degrees Celsius and later increase to 26 degrees Celsius with a light wind showers and light wind. Moving to Niger Republic, Maradi is expected to have clear sky and a gentle breeze at an average temperature of 25 degrees Celsius and later increase to 27 degrees Celsius with a sunny and a gentle breeze. While Zinda will experience the same weather condition at an average temperature of 26 degrees Celsius and later increase to 29 degrees Celsius with a sunny intervals and a gentle breeze. Rahim Achitu, Freedom Radio.
And on the foreign scene, rival Libyan factions have failed to reach an agreement after wrapping up a third round of United Nations mediated discussions in Egypt. The United Nations said this today, further complicating international efforts to find a way out of the country's decade-old chaos. Zarzanna has more on this.
According to the United Nations Special Advisor on Libya, Stephanie Williams, legislators from Libya's East-based parliament and the High Council of State, based in the capital, Tripoli, in the country's west, concluded the final round of negotiations and constitutional amendments for elections late on Sunday in Cairo without a breakthrough. The discussions, which started on June 12, had sought to establish a constitutional framework for elections in Libya, but the two sides failed to agree on the measures governing the transitional period leading to the vote. She called on Nagila Saleh, the influential parliament speaker, and Khalid Al-Mashri, head of the Tripoli-based council, to convene within 10 days to try and bridge the gaps between the two sides. Libyan media reports claim that the main contested topic was the criteria for a presidential candidacy. The Tripoli-based council insisted on banning military personnel from running for the country's top post, apparently a move directed at renegade military commander Khalifa Haftar. It could be recalled that Haftar had announced his bid in elections slated for last December. His forces launched an offensive in 2020 to capture Tripoli, but were defeated after Turkey supported the Tripoli-based government. Zarzanna, Freedom Radio.
World Refugee Day is an international day designated by the United Nations and celebrated annually on 20th June. The day was first celebrated on 20th June 2001 and designed to celebrate and honor refugees from around the world. And if Adamu Kiyawa takes a look at the importance of the day and files in this report.
The event aims to recognize the strength of the refugees who have fled the conflict and persecution of their country in hope of finding sanctuary and living a better life. World Refugee Day builds the concept of understanding for their plight, which shows one's resilience and courage in the rebuilding of their future. According to the United Nations, every minute 20 people leave everything behind to escape war, persecution, or terror. This day is an opportunity for everyone to experience, understand, and celebrate the rich diversity of the communities of refugees. In Nigeria, insecurity is the main cause that has pushed people to migrate to other states, automatically becoming internally displaced in order to take refuge for their lives. People have been displaced more in states like Borno, Sokoto, Zamfara, Katsina, and Plateau states due to insecurity. Freedom Radio interviews some refugees in Kano on their experiences.
When we were in our town, our houses were burnt down. There was no food or drink. I lost my husband, my parents, and my sisters, including my landlord. I did not know where they were. I have 5 children, and I do everything for them. I mean the responsibilities. I am suffering in my misery. The house we were living for 7 years was blown away by wind last year.
Thieves come to our village and kill people. They take the food we eat and they burn down our rooms and our belongings. We do not enjoy living here because whenever I remember my family, I feel so unhappy.
The state coordinator Red Cross, Alhaji Musa D. Abdullahi, said they try as much as possible to provide refugees with shelter, food and water supply, and also help them with health support.
To make sure that they are in a safe place, and then they should be in the IDP camps, or they should be given a special consideration where I talk about issue of security. They cannot just be allowed to be anywhere. We identify a place and we say it's a temporary shelter. So health issues must be addressed, security issues must be addressed, feeding must be addressed.
World Refugee Day is an occasion to build empathy and understanding for their plight and to recognize their resilience in rebuilding their lives. The theme for this year is whoever, wherever, whenever, everyone has the right to seek safety. Hauwa Adamu Kiyawa, Freedom Radio.
And with this, we've come to the end of today's Global News. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Hauwa Adamu Kiyawa. Have a wonderful evening.